Hello, in this video I'm going to give you row by row instructions how to crochet the hourglass pattern of this blanket. It is using Mosaic Overlay Crochet, so if you're unfamiliar with this technique, you might want to check out my beginner's tutorial first. You can find a link in the video description. The hourglass pattern uses the same repeat sequence as the triangle pattern, so you can mix and match the two whichever way you like. I am adding the hourglass section to my existing blanket. If you are just starting your blanket, you will make a foundation chain and work row 1 into that chain instead. Your foundation chain needs to be a multiple of 16 stitches. Then add 2 additional chain stitches, where one of those will be your turning chain going into row 1. Please note that I am not working with border stitches, so if you prefer to work with border stitches, just make sure to account for those in your foundation chain. Row 1 starts with a single crochet, so I just pull up a loop through the back loop of the first stitch and then yarn over and pull through both that loop and the slip knot on my hook to complete the first single crochet. The rest of the row is extremely straightforward, it's just single crochets all the way across. Remember, in Mosaic Overlay Crochet, all single crochets are always worked into the back loop of the previous row. When you get to the end, after the final stitch, just add a chain 1 and then cut your yarn to finish your row. For row 2, I am changing over to my white yarn. We're once again starting with a single crochet and then just single crochet across the entire row. Like in row 1, when you get to the final stitch, add 1 chain stitch and cut your yarn to finish the row. For row 3, I am back to my dark blue yarn. As you can see from the X in the first stitch of the chart, this row starts with a double crochet. My preferred method is to secure the slip knot with a slip stitch, then chain 1, and then work the double crochet into the front loop of the stitch 2 rows down. If you prefer a different method for starting a row with a double crochet, then feel free to just use that method instead. Row 2 continues with 15 single crochets, and just another reminder, they're all worked into the back loop of the previous row. That's 13, 14 and 15. And then we're going to repeat, starting again with the first stitch, which is a double crochet, and followed by 15 single crochets. You will repeat this sequence until you get to the end of your row. And then you will notice that you've got 1 stitch left over, and for the very last stitch of your row, you will repeat the first stitch in the pattern to add a bit of symmetry to how it looks in the end. So, first stitch of this row was a double crochet, so you will finish your row by crocheting another double crochet into the very last stitch, and then the usual chain stitch and cut your yarn. For row 4, we're back to white. The row starts with a single crochet, followed by another single crochet. The third stitch of the row is a double crochet, crocheted into the front loop 2 rows down. Next up we have 5 single crochets, 3, 4, 5, then a double crochet, another 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, a double crochet, and finally finish the sequence with a single crochet. Then repeat again from the first stitch, starting with 2 single crochets, 1 double crochet, 5 single crochets, a double crochet, five single crochets, a double crochet, and a single crochet, and then just keep repeating these 16 stitches until you get to the end of the row. For the final stitch of the row, you will once again mirror the first stitch of the row, which is a single crochet. Then chain 1 and cut the yarn to finish the row. Row 5, crocheted in blue, starts with a single crochet. The next stitch is a double crochet, followed by 3 single crochets, then it's 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet, another double crochet, a single crochet into the top of that white double crochet, then another double crochet, single crochet, and a double crochet. Now 3 more single crochets, and finish the sequence with a double crochet. Then you start back at the beginning with a single crochet and a double crochet, 3 single crochets, then double, single, another double, single, a third double, single, and then one more double, three single crochets, the last one into the top of that white double crochet, and then a double crochet to finish the repeat. Then you keep going until you reach the end of your row. For the very last stitch, we will once again mirror the stitch from the beginning, which is a single crochet. Chain one and cut the yarn. Row 6, crocheted in white, starts with a single crochet, followed by 3 more single crochets, so 4 in total. 3, 4. Then a double crochet, a single crochet, 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 and another double crochet, and then 3 single crochets. And the third one. That's your repeat sequence for row 6. So starting again at the beginning, 4 single crochets, which means you will now have 7 single crochets next to each other. Then a double crochet, single crochet, double and single, another double and single, and another double and single, and one more double crochet, then 3 single crochets, and continue until you get to the end of your row. When you get to the end, you will once again finish with the first stitch of the row, which is a single crochet. Row 7 starts with a single crochet, followed by a double crochet, then a single crochet and a double, next up it's 3 single crochets and 3, then 1 double crochet, 1 single crochet and 1 double crochet, three single crochets, a double crochet, a single crochet, and finish with a double crochet. To repeat, start with a single crochet, followed by a double crochet, single and double, then 3 single crochets, double, single, double, three single crochets, and double, single, double. Then continue repeating this until you get to the end of your row, and finishing by repeating the first stitch of the row, which in this case is again a single crochet. For row 8, I am back to my white yarn. The row starts with a single crochet, followed by 5 more single crochets, so 6 single crochets in total. 4, 5, and 6. Then a double crochet, 3 single crochets, a double crochet, and 5 single crochets. That's 3, 4, and 5. Starting back at the beginning, 6 single crochets, so you will have 11 single crochets right next to each other, the 5 from the end of the repeat and then the 6 from the beginning of the repeat. A double crochet, 3 single crochets, a double, and finishing the repeat with 5 single crochets, and then just continue this sequence until you get to the end of the row. The first stitch of the row was a single crochet, so you will also finish on a single crochet. Row 9 starts with a single crochet again, followed by a double crochet. Then single, followed by double again, and another single followed by double. Next, it's 5 single crochets, then a double crochet, followed by a single crochet, another double followed by a single, and finishing the repeat with a double crochet. And then just repeat this again. Single followed by double, single followed by double, and a third single followed by double, then the 5 single crochets, starting and ending in the white double crochets from row 8, then double followed by single, another double followed by single, and a double. And repeat until you get to the end of the row. The first stitch of this row once again was a single crochet, so that will also be the last stitch of row 9. Row 10 starts with 8 single crochets, so 1 attaching, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, then 1 double crochet, and another 7 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then when you repeat this, you will start with 8 single crochets, so you will have 15 single crochets next to each other. Then a double crochet, and 7 more single crochets. And once you have completed all your repeats for this row, finish with a single crochet. Back to blue for row 11. This row starts with 7 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then a double crochet just before that white double crochet from row 10. 1 single crochet into the white double crochet, and then on the other side another double crochet, finishing with 6 single crochets. 4, 5 and the 6th one. And then when you repeat this, you will start again with 7 single crochets, so you will have 13 single crochets next to each other in total. Once again, a double crochet just before the white double crochet, a single crochet into the top of the white double crochet and another double crochet on the other side, and then 6 single crochets to finish the repeat, and continue this sequence until you get to the end of your row, and the last stitch will be a single crochet. For row 12, start with 8 single crochets. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a double crochet into the white double crochet from row 10, and another 7 single crochets to finish the repeat. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And starting again with 8 single crochets, so you will have 15 single crochets next to each other. Then the double crochet on top of the double crochet from row 10, and 7 more single crochets to finish the repeat, and continue until you reach the end of your row and finish this row with a single crochet. Row 13 starts with a single crochet followed by a double crochet. Then another single crochet followed by a double crochet, and a third single crochet followed by a double crochet. Then it's 5 single crochets, 3, 4, and 5, then a double followed by a single, another double followed by a single, and finishing the repeat with a double crochet. Then start at the beginning, single crochet followed by a double, another single double, and a third single double. So you'll now have a total of 6 double crochets next to each other, each separated by 1 single crochet. And it's 5 single crochets, 3, 4, and 5, a double and a single, another double single, and finally a double crochet. Repeat this until you get to the end of your row, and then the final stitch will be a single crochet because row 13 started with a single crochet. Row 14 starts with 6 single crochets. So secure the first one, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then a double crochet, followed by 3 single crochets, double crochet, and finish the repeat with 5 single crochets. Four and 5. You'll now repeat this, so starting with 6 single crochets again, which means you will have a total of 11 single crochets next to each other. Then a double crochet, 3 single crochets, a double crochet, and 5 single crochets. And then repeat this until you get to the end of your row. The final stitch of the row is going to be a single crochet. Back to blue for row 15. The row starts with a single crochet, followed by a double crochet, then another single double, and it's 3 single crochets, a double crochet, a single crochet, and a double crochet, 3 single crochets, double crochet, single crochet, and double crochet. Then repeat, starting with a single crochet, a double crochet, single, double, and 3 single crochets, third one goes into the top of the white double crochet, a double crochet, single crochet and double crochet, 3 single crochets, and double, single, double, and continue repeating this until you get to the end of the row and finish your row with 1 final single crochet. Row 16 starts with 4 double crochets, attaching the first one, then 2, 3 and 4, then a double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet into the top of the blue double crochet, then a double crochet right in the middle between those 2 blue double crochets, another single crochet, then a double crochet into the other white double crochet, single, and 1 more double crochet. Then 3 single crochets, and that's the end of that repeat. So starting again at the beginning with 4 single crochets, so you will have 7 single crochets next to each other. You then have 5 double crochets, and each of these are separated by a single crochet. So second double followed by a single, third double, single in between, fourth double, single in between, and fifth double. Then you finish the repeat with 3 single crochets. And after that, just repeat until you reach the end of your row, and the very last stitch, mirroring the first stitch in the row, is going to be a single crochet. Row 17 is back to blue. Start with a single crochet anchoring your slip knot, then 1 double crochet, 3 single crochets, then a double crochet followed by a single crochet, then working into the top of that previous row's double crochet, a double crochet, followed by a single crochet, a third double crochet followed by a single crochet, a fourth double crochet. Then 3 single crochets, and the repeat finishes with 1 double crochet. Back to the beginning of the row with a single crochet followed by a double crochet, then 3 single crochets, and then you have 4 double crochets which are each separated by a single crochet. So, second double crochet, then the single in between, third double crochet, single in between, and fourth double crochet. 3 single crochets, and a double crochet, and then repeat until you get to the end of your row, and your final stitch is going to be a single crochet. Row 18 starts with 2 single crochets. The first one anchors the slip knot, and the second one, and then we have a double crochet followed by 5 single crochets. And 5. Now 1 double crochet, and again 5 single crochets. Then a double crochet, and finish the sequence with 1 single crochet. For the repeat, once again start with 2 single crochets, so you will have 3 single crochets right next to each other. Then 1 double crochet, five single crochets, one double crochet, again 5 single crochets, 2, 3, 4, and 5, a double crochet, another single crochet, and then repeat that until you get to the end of your row. And your final stitch is going to be a single crochet. The final row is really straightforward. Row 19 starts with a double crochet, so I like to slip stitch my slip knot, then chain 1, and then work the double crochet into that first stitch. And next up it is 15 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and finally number 15. Then repeat this, double crochet, followed by 15 single crochets. Then keep repeating this until you get to the very end of your row, and the final stitch of the row is going to be a double crochet in this case, because we are mirroring the first stitch of the row. And that's the hourglass pattern finished. If you want to add another row of the hourglass pattern, then now add a row of just white single crochets into the back loop before you start again with row 1. Otherwise, if you want to mix and match with the triangle pattern, you can go straight into the triangle pattern, which does start with a row of white. You can find the link to the triangle pattern in the video description, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.